Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. These 6 Heat leftovers might not survive the post-Butler rebuild. Perhaps Bam Adebayo said it best after the Miami Heat's final loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers to complete their playoff exit. There are going to be a lot of changes this summer, knowing how the guy with the silver hair works, Adebayo said. Be prepared for that. After 2 straight first-round exits, the Heat need to shake things up this summer. What worked in the past won't work in the future. Most obviously, they need a talent upgrade. Pat Riley will do his usual stargazing, but it's fair to expect a few more changes. Whether it's through free agency, trades, or cuts, a few players could be jettisoned as the Heat jumpstart their rebuild. 1. Keshad Johnson. The Heat like Johnson's attitude, athleticism and development in the G League, but it's far from a guarantee that he will return on his standard contract next season, which is a club option and fully non-guaranteed. If the Heat need a roster spot, they could decline his option for next season and bring him back on a 2-way contract. Johnson played well in Miami's regular season finale, tallying 17 points on 7 of 9 shooting, 2 of 3 on threes, 8 rebounds and 2 steals in 28 minutes. The Heat need him to develop into a capable 3-point shooter after he shot 24% from deep in the G League. 2. Kevin Love. At 36, Love's best basketball is behind him, but he's still a valued presence in the Heat locker room. He's well-liked and respected within the organization, even if his Instagram antics fall a bit outside the Heat's code of conduct. Love had good days in Miami, but his best utility was spacing the floor for Butler, who is no longer here. Love is under contract for $4.1 million next season, and the Heat could theoretically get more production for half the price from a younger player. Miami could try to shop him to a team needing his veteran leadership. 3. Duncan Robinson. It's been a fine season for Robinson, who started as many games, 37, as he came off the bench. He averaged 11 points, 2.4 assists and shot 39.3% from 3, everything you'd expect from the Heat's all-time leader in made three-pointers. But Robinson is one of 5 players due to make more than $19 million next season, and if the Heat attempt to cut payroll, he'd be the easiest high-priced player to move. The Heat are projected to be more than $19 million over the salary cap, according to Spotrac. Of the $19.9 million Robinson is owed next season, only $9.9 million is guaranteed if he's waived before July 8. The Heat can waive Robinson and save $10 million against the cap. Should they look to trade Robinson, his contract might be attractive to a team like Phoenix trying to trim payroll. Robinson also has an early termination option he can use to end his contract and become an unrestricted free agent before June 29. 4. Terry Rozier. Last January's trade for Rozier turned out to be a bust. In his last 30 games in Charlotte, Rozier averaged 23.2 points on 46% shooting. In 1.5 seasons in Miami, he's averaging 12.5 points on 40% shooting. His struggles are among the biggest reasons for Miami's disappointing season. The Heat were outscored by 141 points with Rozier on the court this season. The decline has been severe, and now the Heat are on the hook to pay Rozier $26.6 million next season. All but $1.7 million is guaranteed, so waiving Rozier is not an option. They could waive and stretch Rozier, which would result in a dead cap hit of $8.3 million over the next 3 seasons. That would be a last resort. The Heat would prefer to include Rozier in a trade for an upgrade. Rozier's contract expires after next season, which could provide his new team with short-term flexibility if they are willing to deal with his salary for a season. It would be surprising if the Heat attach important assets to Rozier to get off his salary. Jimmy Butler fires veiled shot at Heat after Warriors-Rockets game. Jimmy Butler made his triumphant return to the court on Monday in the Golden State Warriors' pivotal Game 4 victory against the Houston Rockets. Butler was forced to sit out Game 3 due to a pelvic injury, but he was able to recover on time to suit up for Monday's contest. The six-time All-Star made up for lost time by helping lead his team to a hard-fought 109-106 victory with 27 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, a block and 0 turnovers in 40 minutes of action. Butler spoke to NBA on TNT's Ali LaForce immediately after the final buzzer, and it appears that the 6'7" forward took the opportunity to take a veiled shot at his former team, the Miami Heat. "It means the world," Butler responded when asked how it feels to get all the love from his Warriors teammate. "I die for these guys, for real. It's so fun. I got my joy back, as some would say." Butler's statement is a reference to comments he made in January during his infamous holdout with the Heat. At that point, Butler had already made it clear that he wanted to get traded away from Miami, but to a certain degree, Pat Riley and the front office were playing hardball. Butler was asked during an interview whether he feels he could get his joy back in Miami, to which he responded by saying, "Probably not. What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball, wherever that may be. We'll find out here pretty soon," Butler continued. "I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court, but I want to be back to somewhere dominant. I want to hoop and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that." The Heat, who suffered an embarrassing first-round sweep against the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier on Monday, ended up suspending Butler for his comments before ultimately trading him to the Warriors in a blockbuster deal. With his remarks on Monday night, it is clear that Butler is happy with his current situation with the Warriors. At the same time, he appears to have hinted that he still hasn't forgotten about his drama-filled episode in South Beach. Game 5 between the Warriors and the Rockets is on Wednesday in Houston as Butler and company look to close out the series and book their spot in the next round. Charles Barkley shreds Miami Heat during blowout Game 4 loss. After the Miami Heat returned home to the Kaseya Center over the weekend for Game 3 of their series against the Cavaliers, hopes for a change of fortune quickly disintegrated. The Heat were run out of the building in Game 3, losing 124-87. And if there was some comfort to be taken in the notion that things could not get worse for the Heat, then that, well, things did, indeed, get worse. In fact, if the Cavaliers ran the Heat out of Game 3, then it could be said that the Heat did not even show up in the building for Game 4 as the Cavs finished the sweep. The first quarter tally was 43-17, Cavaliers. It was 72-33 at halftime. By the end of the game, the score was up to 138-83, a jaw-dropping 55-point decision. Pity the poor TNT inside the NBA crew. This was not an easy game to describe. Kenny Smith compared the Cavs' performance to a kung fu movie. Ernie Johnson dubbed it, perhaps, the worst game I've ever watched. And Charles Barkley, not wanting to accuse NBA players of laying down and quitting, nevertheless accused the Heat of laying down and quitting. "Ernie, I try not to ever use the word quit or choke," he said. "I very seldom use them. This is quitting at its finest right here. It's like, I bet if we went to their house, all their stuff is packed already. If you lose by 37 and then come back and lose by 40, you can't stay in town." The Heat were a 39-win team that earned the number 8 seed, and the right to play against the top-seeded Cavaliers in the East playoffs, thanks to the play-in game. They were 25-24 on February 6, when they pulled off a blockbuster trade that sent disgruntled star Jimmy Butler to Golden State. The Heat limped into the season's finish going 14-21 in their final 35 games. And you, fan? What do you think about Charles Barkley's situation? Write to us in the comments.